Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Oh, one moment. And enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. I hope you all enjoyed your holidays, and had a great Christmas. I'm back at you with some more content, and man, my two Fatal Force videos went gangbusters when I released them. So, man. Oh, Lord. I got like 1,400 views from those two videos combined, man. That's crazy. You guys love that content. Well, I certainly picked quite a couple good thumbnails there to represent my videos. So, but yeah, guys, today I'm trying to get back into the normal structure of things. So we're going to be doing an episode of Changeling Tale. Grace's Path. There you go. I had to think for a second. Alright, so it turns out that if you go with Marion, it's just more of her content. Okay, so you cannot meet Grace in the market. You have to go home, and that's what I did. So I kind of went back a little bit. I went home, and now I'm stuck with a choice. So we'll get to see We'll get to see Grace today, guys. Anyway, sit back and enjoy. Let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes, and let's just see what happens. Alright, here we go. Lure her back with treats. So Hazel just ran away. I'm trying to get her back. Alright. I took into the stable to grab a few treats, stuffing them into every pocket I've got before setting off after her. It's beautiful. Thankfully, I find Hazel on a bluff overlooking the loch, where she has stopped to graze on a patch of bluebells. You silly girl. I make my way across the field to retrieve my erasable little mare, tiptoeing up to her. She bucks and darts off again, but not far this time. Hazel! I've got a carrot for you! I reach into a pocket and produce a bright orange root, hoping it's enough to lure her back. I try to waggle it around seductively. You behave, and I'll give you whatever you want. I sound like a terrible parent. Hazel, darling, yes, there you go. Oh. Hazel begins to tromp closer to my outstretched hand. She approaches me cautiously, but agreeably. Finally, reluctantly, she snatches the carrot and I grab hold of her reins. It makes her agitated and she shafts as I try to take control. From my other pocket, I pull out a handful of dried buds. There, try these. It'll help settle your nerves. She huffs into my hands, lapping up the buds. She's not the cheerful type, but I do sense that she's as placated as she can get. Nice job! Nice job! I turn toward the voice. Off closer to the loch, I see a young woman on the slope watching me tempt back my mare. She's clapping her hands in applause. I am no horse tamer, but thank you. The girl comes closer, and I see she looks familiar, given how few souls live in our vicinity. I make an educated guess. Grace? Yes? Malcolm? That's me. My sisters mentioned you were back. It's nice to see you again. It's certainly been a long time. It has. Truth be told, I have very little memory of the youngest MacLeod sister. Even when our families got together, she tended to be scarce. I struggle for more words. Ah, you look so much older. As do you. And this is? Hazel, the one and thankfully only. You did a great job wrangling her. Yes, well, it's a start. It seems as though she's not enjoying her relaxing farm life. Grace's expression changes, and I sense she has some sympathy for my horse's plight. Perhaps she'd rather be wild and free. She's feisty. I like it. Feisty like you wouldn't believe. Here, offer her some chamomile. I give Grace another handful of dried buds from my pocket. She extends them to Hazel, who eagerly accepts the treat. How did you know these would calm her? It's a trick I learned while I was serving. When the soldiers went into panic, and when we were out of rum, we were told to chew on chamomile buds or leaves, or brew them into tea. I figured the trick might work for a horse, too. And calm her it did, but not tame. Hardly. I don't think this mare was meant to be tamed. But that's all right. I'll treat her well, and we'll learn to get along. Or you won't. Well, I'm not ready to give up on her just yet. Just staring at me. Grace goes quiet again. We both look at each other for a moment, and I finally break the silence. So, what have you been up to these days? I'm at home, helping Marion. What brings you all the way out here? She glances toward the water. Just taking myself out for a walk. Fresh air is good for you, don't you know? Heading to the loch? Perhaps. I'll go wherever the currents take me. She turns away from me, scratching Hazel's ear. Hazel is now tolerating the attention more than I would have guessed, but Grace seems to be shying away, so I don't press the subject. Well, anytime you, and your sisters of course, would like to come by for dinner, I'm sure Gran would be thrilled to see you all. I'll let Marion know. And Jessie? Yes, Jessie too. After years in the army, I can tell when I've been dismissed. Well, Grace, I ought to head back with Hazel in hand, seeing as how she's quieted down a great deal. She'll be fine, it looks like, thanks to a clever trick. The world revolves around such serpentine maneuvers, I dare say. And the world is not for me. I nod, thinking of the last 4 years, the scheming of the officers, the inherent unfairness of the army system. How the king called on all the countrymen to serve, but a privileged few weaseled their way behind mahogany desks, far away from the bite of German lead. The same few who issued orders that sent many of my comrades and I over the top and into hell itself. A hell created by the vain ambitions of empires and politicians, I sigh. You know, sometimes I feel the world isn't for me either. Well, enjoy your day, Grace. You as well, Malcolm. Grace turns and begins walking toward the water. I wonder at a girl who can both seem so sullen yet confident. Tugging Hazel back towards the stable, I think back on what I've heard about the youngest sister, wondering if she isn't just terribly lonely and bored on the farm all day. Best not to overthink it, though. Much is left to be done today, and my mind can't bear any additional burdens. Coffee time. Oh, that's good coffee. French vanilla is so good. Back at the homestead, my first order of business is to put poor Hazel in a paddock with plenty of space. She seems to tolerate the accommodations well enough, but I keep a weather eye on her at all times, just in case. The much-needed patches to the stable roof keep me busy as the day draws on. It's one less thing for Hazel to hold against me, at least. God, that's a beautiful game. The sun is already setting when grandmother calls me back in for supper. I kick myself for losing track of time. A day has passed, I've not eaten, and my hands are sore and calloused from all the hard work. I wash up, change my clothes, and sit down to enjoy a hearty meal with Agnes, but apparently even a good scrub can't hide my fatigue. Dear, you look exhausted. Do the day's labours not agree with you? You don't know the half of it. We commiserate about the stubbornness of beasts and talk long into the evening. 1 second, guys. Gotta clear my allergies. Help my throat a little bit. Eventually we both find ourselves yawning and the rest beckons us. It looks as though the bed is calling you, Gran. Aye, I'll retire now. Let you to your evening routine. I wink and tilt my head towards the bottle of scotch by the sink. You know you're welcome to partake in the ritual. Maybe a wee dream. Maybe a wee dram. I grab the bottle and the glasses, and we sip together in silence until Grant and I's a refill. I've had my fill. Any more tipsy, and I myself will need to be poured into bed. My muscles argue a little as I lift myself out of the chair, and I protest harder still as Gran gives me a tight embrace. Sleep well, Gran. I'll see you when the rooster crows. Good night, Malcolm. May the fairies only slip you peace, filled with... Let me try that again. May the fairies only slip you peace-filled dreams. There you go. I chuckle, reminded of childhood fairy tales as Agnes retires to her room. I'm busying myself with the dishes when I hear a light knock on the door. Who in the world would that be calling at this hour? Malcolm! Malcolm, is that you? A tall woman stands before me in the cool evening air. She is most definitely the flaxen-haired woman I had noticed in the market today, and my former schoolteacher. Her face is somber and frozen with worry, but she cracks a faint smile at my appearance. Miss Alana, how are you? I reach out to give her a gentle embrace, though the measure is hardly reciprocated as she nearly pulls away.
You remember me?
Oddly enough, she does not look like she's aged at all since I first saw her in the classroom so long ago. Of course I do. It's nice to see you.
You as well. The whole village is thankful to have you back, myself included.
You must come in to warm up. It's mighty late to be strolling out this way. She shakes her head and pulls the lapels of her long green gown tightly around her neck. Her piercing eyes stare boldly, almost invasively into me.
No, I shan't be staying long, Malcolm. I came especially to see you.
She hesitates, and her gold hair shines in the moonlight, bringing out the blonde highlights.
You know everyone is relieved that your home's safe and sound.
Thank you. It continues to be pleasant to hear. It's good to be home.
Yes, everyone is pleased, including the MacLeod girls. You've spoken with them?
I take a pause at the sudden specificity. Her brow furrows, and she rubs her arms for warmth. We've crossed paths since I returned, yes. There are neighbors, after all. Are you sure you don't want to come inside? Concern is written all over her. I would appreciate the warmth more than she would, it seems. I want to ask if she's all right, but instinct guides me otherwise.
No, thank you. I just...
Yes?
You need to know.
I need to know what?
It's best if you stay away from them.
Her words take me completely by surprise. It takes me a moment to find my bearings. Why on earth would you say that? Is something wrong? She begins speaking very fast and very concisely, as if rehearsed.
Please, don't ask me. It's a private matter, one I ought not to even speak about. Just know I'm looking out for everyone's best interests.
I'm at a loss for words. This is a side of Miss Alana I'd hope never to see again. As a teacher, she was at once kind, gentle, and stern. Learning came easily through her methods of education. She was joyous and heartfelt in the classroom, but always knew when to raise her voice and chastise her boisterous, youthful behavior. But occasionally, for no reason, she would become very serious, very superstitious over the smallest of things. Even as a child, I viewed it as strange behavior. And outside of school, well, it was as if she was an entirely different person, a mournful and isolated woman when she was seen at all. It made life uncomfortable for a child who otherwise adored his normally cheerful teacher. What had she become now? Oh, hold up. Just go along with it. I did not do that last time, so do that this time. Alright, I appreciate your concern.
Malcolm, listen to me, please. Look in my eyes.
Her eyes are dark and with desperation and sadness, even while reflecting the moon's glow. A darkness sweeps over the sky, black as the Earl of Hell's waistcoat. The bright moon is clouded over.
It is because I care for you and them that I've come here tonight. They may seem like harmless girls, but outward appearances can be deceiving. Family secrets run deep. Don't get too close to them. Know you've been asked in earnest. Please stay away from the MacLeods.
I've never seen such intensity from Miss Alana. Whatever her reasons, she's clearly distressed, so I decide to appease her. Don't worry, I'll respect your space. Thank you for coming by, but now it really should be getting back to...
Oh, you've given me such relief, Malcolm.
She moves closer, as if to embrace again. I warily step back, and in doing so I realize I may have offended her.
Now, I must be on my way.
I'm sorry. Please take care, Miss Alana. I hope to catch up with you soon, perhaps in brighter circumstances. I point to the shaded moon. She nods, and as if on cue, the clouds part.
Of course. Please give my best to your grandmother.
She steps away from the door and demurely waves goodbye.
Good night, Malcolm.
I watch her as she walks away. Her silhouette shrinks, and I can't help but wonder what has her so distraught. Eventually she veers off the path and deeper into the hill crossing, disappearing among the jagged boulders. I shiver and tell myself it is because of the draft. Inside, the warmth of... I warm myself with one more drink, and from now near an empty bottle of scotch. I won't realize how tense I am until I reach for the glass. The first sip eases the tension, but not my nerves. Agnes ducks out of her room. I believe she could read my concern as I pour myself yet another drink.
Is all well? Was someone at the door, dear?
I lift my glass and polish off the whiskey, resolving to put the strange encounter behind me. It was nothing, Gran. Under my breath, I add, just a ghost from the past. Okay, done with my coffee. Done with my delicious brew. And it's the evening. No, it turned to morning, okay. The smell of fresh-baked pastry drifts out of the main room. I come in to find Gran stirring a pot at the stove.
Good morning. How did you sleep?
I feel like I've hardly slept at all. Well enough, I guess. Something smells good. She points to a basket of muffins on the table. The steam wafts around them as they cool.
I baked some fresh treats for the MacLeod girls, since they've been so good to me these past months. Won't you be a dear and take these over to them?
My uncomfortable conversation with Alana is still fresh, although I don't want to worry my grandmother. Still. Gran, have you heard anything, well, odd about the MacLeod girls?
Odd? What do you mean?
The girls. Has anything ever seemed off?
Why ever would you ask that? I've known them to be nothing but good.
Gran hesitates. But?
Malcolm, I've lived a long, full life. This town has a past, secrets that aren't meant to be uncovered. Not everything is as it seems.
I'm stupefied. Now Gran is giving me riddles too. It almost sounds like the opening to one of the fairy tales she would read to me as a wee lad. What? What does that mean?
God willing, you'll never have to find out. Quickly now, while the muffins are still warm. Breakfast should be ready soon as you return.
Before I know it, I find myself shoot out the door, alone with a basket of muffins and a baker's dozen of questions in my head. Rebirth, huh? What are Gran and Alana talking about? In all my years, I've never noticed anything unusual in this sleepy hamlet, apart from Alana herself. Maybe Agnes is getting superstitious too in her old age. Should I let their superstitions stand in the way of being a good neighbor? Fuck that! We're gonna be a good neighbor! I shield my concerns and tell myself that I can press for some answers on my return. I make it to the MacLeod's house in no time. Marion is standing at the door, almost as if she was waiting for me. She waves me over. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is that dream sequence.
Good morning, Malcolm. Oh, I'm so glad you decided to visit.
The morning rays highlight her cheerful features. Her smile is genuine, but something about it seems unusual, different. Her expression falls as she seems to sense my unease.
Goodness, you look like you've seen a ghost. Would you like to come inside? There's tea on the stove.
Morning, Marion. No, I can't stay. I just came to drop off these muffins. Compliments of my Gran. Is everything all right?
I'd ask the same of you. You look unwell.
Marion takes me by my hand, all concerned. The uneasy feeling grows, forming a knot in my stomach.
Come inside. We'll get you some tea. No buts.
Let me make sure the adult content is not on. Okay, good, because I don't want to censor all that. She leads me into the house. It looks much the same as I remember it from when I was a kid. The woven rug, made by their mother, collects dust underneath the table, and the family portrait hanging over the mantel brings back bittersweet memories of their stern father, Owen. It would be a cozy space except for an unnaturally harsh chill. Is it usually this cold in here?
Don't worry, we'll get you warmed up soon. Girls, we have a visitor.
I hear Jessie call out from another room.
Marion, who is it?
She comes into the kitchen with Grace beside her. Jessie is still in her flapper dress, which seems odd for the morning. Perhaps she just got home from a long evening out.
Oh, Malcolm, how are you?
All three girls are hovering around me. My knees have become weak and I feel helpless, like a specimen on display.
You look awful. Are you all right? Grace, be nice. Won't you get this fire going?
Grace complies, and Marion takes my hand again, leading me to a chair by the fireplace. I take a seat, but instead of feeling the fire's warmth, I become cold all over and start to shiver. I'm sorry. I don't know what's come over me.
Hush, you poor thing. Let's get you warm.
Marion strokes my hand, which now aches and burns. From the heat? I can't tell. The three sisters have gathered around me, a range of concern to pity playing across their faces.
Crivens, Malcolm, are you contagious? Maybe you shouldn't have come here. As if you could stay away from a house full of sultry young women. Speak for yourself.
I'm struck by how unusual the sisters are acting. Had I walked in at the wrong time?
Girls, a blanket, please. Some tea for Malcolm.
The fire feels warm and itchy against my palms, and I realize that it's not the flame near my hands, but slight involuntary movements of my fingers. I run my hands together as they twitch. Marion stares at me with concern, her brow furrowed, lips frowning.
We're glad you've come home safely, Malcolm, but a lot has changed since you left. Looks like you've changed too.
Yep, I'll save her. Good timing, alarm chain, perfect. Alright guys, I'm gonna save it right there. It's about to get strange. Ooh, not spirit, not ghost or anything like that, silly. Oh, it's nice to see Jessie and her in some different casual clothing. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!